Parakah tells us that Avram Avinu just had his bris milah, and the Torah says that the Rebbe Shalom Vayira, I love it, Baruch Hu appears to him, V'hu Yoshev Pesach Ha'ol Kechom Hayom, and he's standing, or he's sitting, at the entranceway of the tent, Kechom Hayom, the heat of the day. The first one, of course, try to understand, why does the Torah have to tell me that Hu Yoshev Pesach Ha'ol? Well, again, remember, no extraneous information in the Torah. So I'd have to tell me that he's sitting at the entranceway of the tent. What does that matter? And Rashi HaKadosh explains, we all know, that Avram Avinu, again, his essence was Hachnasas Archim. His essence was to give to the other. His essence was to always figure out what could he do, what could he contribute, how could he help. So we know Rashi says he's sitting by the entranceway of the tent in order to see is there anyone passing by that he could potentially invite into his home. Rabbi Nachman says something so beautiful. He says in that phrase, V'hu Yoshev Pesach Ha'ohel, that he was sitting entranceway of the tent, he says in that one phrase, you see the greatness of Avram Avinu. How so? And I want to quote you. He says, Tamtzis ha'inyan merumaz b'pasuk, v'hu Yoshev Pesach ha'kechom hayom. He says, Yoshev, what does it mean to sit? Okay, so to sit can mean to sit. But the Rebbe says, Yoshev is Lashon Hamtana va'akava zman rav. When you're Yoshev doesn't just mean like to sit for a short amount of time. Like yeshiva, like Bikesh Yaakov Leishe B'Shav. Yeshiva means to plant yourself somewhere. Right? Guys, this is a good lesson, right? How do you become, right? No one ever becomes great in Torah by dabbling. If you dabble in Torah a little bit, you could pick up ideas here and there. But if you want to become a Mitsuyon, if you want to become a Masmik, if you want to become a Ben Torah, it requires yeshiva. I have to plant myself. And it's not just true with learning, it's true with anything in life. If you want to be an excellent husband, all right, the person can't say, you know what, okay, I'm going to be all into this marriage on Sundays, Tuesdays, and alternate Thursdays, right? But the rest of it, it's me time. You know, I need a little bit of time for myself. That's not going to work. You want to be an excellent spouse, you have to be all in. Whatever you're going to do in life, if you want to be successful, you have to, and I'm sure we have a running joke. If you want to know, right, if you start something, if you want to know if something is going to work or not, the death knell of any new life initiative is 3 words. Right? What are the 3 words? I will try. I'll try means I'm not really committed to this. I'm not really committed. I'm happy to try to put in some effort, but I'm not really ready to be Yoshev. I'm not really ready to plant myself in something. So Rabbi Nachman says so beautifully, he says Yoshev, Lashon Hamtana va'akava zman rav. Yoshev means you plant yourself somewhere. You're embedded. He goes on, he gives examples of this. He says, I want to quote to you. He says, V'afapi. He says, I'm sorry. Vayera lev Hashem, ki al yidei she Yoshev u'mamtin u'misakev etzel pesach v'al ha'kedusha zman rav. So let me tell you this outside a little bit. So Rabbi Nachman says so beautifully. He says, what's the Ohel? He says, the Ohel always represents the Ohel Hashem. The Ohel always doesn't just simply represent the domicile, the place where you live, but the Ohel represents a framework of ruchnius. So says Rabbi Nachman, what does it mean? B'hu Yoshev Pesach HaOhel? Do you know what the greatness of Avram Avinu was? The greatness is that he embedded himself, in a relationship with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. He embedded himself in a relationship with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Amen. I am Yoshev Pesach HaOhel. I'm not going anywhere. And the Rebbe says something amazing. V'afapi shebesoch kaf over alav ma she'over v'chamimos hayom shem kol ha'tayvus boer oso harbe afapi kein hu eino maniach es makomo chas v'shalom rak hu yoshev u'mamtin u'misakev etzel ha'pesach yamim rabim. So there's something amazing. The Gadlus Avram Avinu is that he planted himself. He was Yoshev Pesach HaOhel. Avram said, Ribono Shel Olam. Amen. Without any outs, right? Without any caveats, without any explanations. I'm ready to stand, I'm ready to sit Pesach HaOhel, I'm ready to embed myself in this relationship. And what does the Torah say? The Rebbe says, what does Chol Mayom represent? The Rebbe posits Chol Mayom represents the difficulties in life. It could represent internal difficulties. A person has taivas, a person has wants and desires and proclivities and predispositions and inclinations. There's an inner chamimus, sometimes the inner fires of taiva burn, but then there are other external circumstances that make it so difficult to embed myself in a relationship with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Says the Rebbe, the greatness of Avraham Avinu, V'hu yoshev pesach ha'oel. He never left the relationship. He always remained embedded. He never left his spot at the entranceway of the ha'oel, of the tent of relationship with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And even when it was kichom hayom, even when it was difficult, and even when it was, but then there are other external circumstances that make it so difficult to embed myself in a relationship with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Says the Rebbe, the greatness of Avraham Avinu, V'hu yoshev pesach ha'oel. He never left the relationship. He always remained embedded. He never left his spot at the entranceway of the ha'oel, of the tent of relationship with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And even when it was kichom hayom, even when it was difficult, and even when it was overwhelming, and even when it was not easy, and even when there were challenges, and even when he was derided, and even when he was an outcast, and even when he had to give up his Yishmael, no matter what the challenge was, no matter what the Chom Hayom was, Avraham Avinu was always Yoshev, Pesach HaOlam. He never left. We like to think that the greatness of Avraham Avinu was, that he found the HaKadosh Baruch Hu, that he preached monotheism wherever he went. The real greatness of Avraham Avinu was in his power of commitment. He remained committed to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and nothing could shake that commitment. It's a powerful yesod. And especially when we think about this, that here we are, enjoying again a beautiful evening of this oros, beautiful table, wonderful chaverim. But it's important to recognize that so many beautiful men and women of Klal Yisrael, holy soldiers of the IDF, in the south and the north, in all their respective assignments, all their respective missions, are being Moser Nefesh. Are putting themselves in harm's way to literally protect Am Yisrael, so you and I could enjoy and learn and sing and farbring together tonight, because others are willing to sacrifice themselves for the Klal. Their Mesiras Nefesh is what allows us to do what we're doing right now and what we do day in and day out. But the most important thing, a soldier, if there's one thing that a soldier can never do, it's what? A soldier never abandons his post. A soldier is the physical embodiment of being Yoshev Pesach HaOhel. You have a job, and the job can be unpleasant. Right? How many of the soldiers were given leave over Shabbos only to be called back? Right? Akiva home for Shabbos, a Ruby, somebody came, right? Again, come home for a couple of hours, go back. But it's Shabbos, but I had off. I earned the time off. You earned much more than just the Shabbos off, holy soldier. But when you have to be Yoshev Pesach HaOhel, you're Yoshev Pesach HaOhel. The Chevra, it's not just for those who are down in the holy uniform of the IDF who have to be Yoshev Pesach HaOhel. They have their Ohel that they have to sit at, and we have our Ohel that we have to sit at. So if you're Zochah to be a young man learning in yeshiva, that's your Ohel. Don't get up. I mean, you can get up sometimes. But think about when you're going to get up. Think about if you're going to leave your post for Klal Yisrael, is it a good enough reason to leave your post? And for those of us maybe who don't have the luxury to sit in yeshiva all day, when we have jobs, we have to go out into the world. Maybe I have a chavusa, maybe I have a shir. It's so tempting, even when you're in the middle of learning, just you take out just for a couple of minutes, again, nothing bad, just that's abandoning your post. Yiddish davening. When you're davening, that's your post, that's your ohel. Be committed to the post. Be committed to the mission. And don't leave it for anything. We are the children of Avraham Avinu. And Avraham Avinu's children sit at the entranceway of many different tents. Some are in the tents of Gaza and Lebanon, some are in the tents of Yeshiva, some are in the tents of the Beis Medrash, some are in the tents in front of their siddur in their living room. We all have our different tents, we all have our different spiritual missions. The most important thing is whatever you're doing, whatever your mission, be committed. And not just committed when you feel up to it, but be committed at all times. And imagine, if Klal Yisrael is made up of soldiers, physical soldiers, who are committed to their posts, who are committed to be Yoshik Ohel, and Klal Yisrael has spiritual soldiers, who are committed to being Yoshev in front of their Ohel. Chevra, that's a recipe for success. That's a nation that is going to win every single battle. That is a nation that will triumph. That is a nation that will bring light to the world. And that is a nation which will pave the way forward for all humanity to Geula in the